Bershut Kala Kadosh, everybody welcome. Bershut Nisim Ben Bechor Baris, Kadosh Baruch Hu ten lo zivuk agum bashana hazeh, parnasa tova, vegam Avraham Arkadi Ben Olga, שהתחתן בשנה הזה בעזרת השם באשת חיל, וגם קיריר דניאל בן מיכאל, זיווגים הגונים, וגם רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף. Very important to say, רפואה שלמה, whoever is sick, a young child. יוסף חיים בן שרה חוסני, יוסף שמעון בן שולמית, רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. 1000 הבדלות בין המתים לחיים, כל הנפטרים ונפטרות בשנה הזה, whoever is not able to say לעילוי נשמת, for them, הקדיש, בעזרת השם, may Hashem lift the souls, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. We continue with our פרק ביזיונות, disrespect and humility, a person gets humiliated by others and shamed by others. לאחר אדם מכיר את המעלות רבות של הביזיונות. 26 reasonings and 26 מעלות, which means a path and ways, we said, שם הוויה, קודשה ברכו, which means that the person getting disrespected, what is gaining? Because it's all about gaining. Most of the times, because we learn the Torah, the Rambam says, in Chilchot De'od, he says, in the beginning, you need to teach the kids and anybody else from the reward. Because when you do from reward, then afterwards you do Leshem Shemaim. And a lot of times I see people, they say, no, we're going to teach our kids not from the reward, we're just going to tell them, love Hashem. But it's not, he's going against the Rambam, because the Rambam is much greater than you are. But he says, no, I'm going to do like this. It's very important to know our sources of where is it coming from. So we learn about the bizyonot. Eno zakuk l'shachnech bizyonon hu davar mu'il. He says the bizyonot, disrespect, it's also helping people how to deal with the problem. Matana me'et Hashem yitbarach mesugelet lazchut oto b'chaye asher b'shnei olamot. He says a person gets disrespected or humility is getting humiliated. He's getting two worlds. He gets this world and a share in the world to come. כצפוי למראות שידה נקלטת במוח והלב עדיין נרתע מן הביזיון. He says, if our brain, if our heart is still getting emotional about what's happening, that means we still have a lot of work to do. The whole point not to get emotional. The whole point is not to pay attention. That's considered work. Like we learned before, a person has to say, L'shem yichud kudsha berechu, that I'm accepting bizyonot, disrespect or humiliate in this world. ניתן לומר איפה המרחק הגדול ביותר בעולם הוא מרחק בין המוח והלב. He says, a world, he says, how far between the earth and the heaven, how far from each other? So you're going to say, listen, so it says, 10 tefachim. Chazal says, from each rakia, in Masechet Chagah, you have to walk 70 years. The 7 rakiyim, 500 years each rakia. Some say 70 years. So Chazal says, that's not far. He says the far is the human brain from his heart. It's much farther than a heaven and earth. That's how far is the human brain is far from the heart and from the brain. תוכן הפרק הנוכחי מיועד לקצר את המרחק הזה. He says the whole point of what we're learning, we're able to connect between the heart and the brain together, which is brain and the heart needs to be connected. Once we're going to get connected, we're able to be concentrate of what we came to this world for. ידיעת תחבולות השונות מסייע לאדם להתבודד את ביזיון, אפשר לו להפנים הלב כל מה להשכיל, להבין וידוע. וידע. He says the whole point of the heart to understand, להבין, להשכיל, to acknowledge that's what's happening. Az hamoach v'halech shavim. He says when a heart and a brain working together, they will become equal. The whole point of the heart and a brain is supposed to be equal. So they're going to say, listen, we never work in our heart. Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Mendel, he's from the YOB, Yeshiva of Brooklyn. And he says, my father, Zichronan Livracha, which is his, was the father, was the Rosh Yeshiva. He says following like this. He says, Talmidei Chachamim, they are brain surgeons and they are heart surgeons. Why is that? Because they're working on a person's heart and they're working on a person's brain. It's much greater than a heart surgeon and much greater than a brain surgeon. Why is that? Because they're able to fix people and able to how to itboded, which means able to, from the influence from outside world, how they're able to connect properly. Shnehem mashlemim basimcha mizanion. He says when a heart and a brain is getting connected, he's able to get disrespected, that person, with the simcha, with the happiness. Niftachim share shamayim. The heavenly gates will be open for the person. Ha'adam ole mala mala b'darko shel hashlemut v'ashrei chelko. And a person becomes shalem, which means complete. And praiseworthy that man, he has the part in the share in the world to come and in this world. He's all the time calm, he's all the time able to connect to the proper people, and is able to be happy. Simchat Chaim. Simchat Chaim is one of the biggest richness for people are seeking, is the happiness in life. But they're always empty because that happiness inside, the world is too big to put to store inside the body. The body bursts. That's why most of the movie stars, most of the NBA players, most of the singers, they die in a young age, or they do drugs, because they're trying to put this whole world inside of them. But the body, the vessel is so small, it bursts. The Torah says, no, put the light of the Torah. Once you put the light of the Torah, the vessel becomes bigger and more purified. Everything, the whole world, to put inside of you, it's no problem. The Sanhedrin says, in the Masechet Sanhedrin, it says, Chayav Adam Lomar. A person has to wake up every morning. And he says, Aulam nivra bishvili. The world was created for me. Then the guy says, great. Let me take the whole world with me. Let me build all day. Let me get connected to the world. Chachamim says, yes. But you need the balance. Yes, the world was created for you. The Bet Knesset, the light, the heat, the air conditioner, the food, the Bet HaMidrash, Bet HaKnesset, the world was created. But be careful how to scale it out. Yes, it's created for you. It's created for your purpose. Yes, but know how to what? To put it on scale. And that's what we don't have. That's why the Torah is guiding us how to put it in a scale. And the Torah does this in a beautiful way. If we connect it properly to Torah, happiness is no problem. Joy is no problem. Understanding this world is no problem. Understanding people, what's happening around us, is no problem. But if we're not connected to the Torah, we're asking the question, Lama omrim hagoyim aye lokechem. Lama. The goyim is all the time asking the Gentiles, why? We don't ask why. We just go, we have a sources, why is everything happening in the world? And a lot of us say, listen, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov says, it's not Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, it's Chazal that says you need to ask all the questions in the Torah, but proper teacher, Rashi, commentaries, very important. Without that, we're forgetting what we learn in the Bereshit, and we all of a sudden comes to the Parasha Vayechi, and we have so much question because we missed all the 11 parashiot, what it says previously. For prime example, one of the prime example yesterday, they say the Rashi says in the Parasha Vayeshev that Yaakov Avenu, he did not keep the kibud avayim. He did not respect father and mother. But no, Rivka and Yitzchak Avenu sent them so to get married. He did kayem the pasuk. He did what the Rivka and Yitzchak said. He did kibud avayim. But he says he was punished because Yosef, 22 years, was far away from him. He says the same thing, that he got punished because he didn't respect his parents. How is it possible? You're contradicting inside the Torah. Because Rivka told him, go. If your mother told you, that means you are doing the respect of father and a mother. The Chazal says, he says, yes, Yaakov Avinu, he says, Rivka had a maid servant. Her name is Devorah. Rivka sends Devorah to Yaakov Avinu and he says, the mother is calling you back. You need to come back. Look, contradiction. He says, once the Rivka called you, right now he already does not make kibud avayim, respecting father and mother. That's why they say he got punished for 22 years. The Yosef was separate. And the Torah also continues and saying, how come Yaakov Avinu for 22 years mourn? Aren't you supposed to be accepted from the Gezerah from Shamayim like Ish Gamzu Letova? Everything happens for good. And Avraham Avinu teaching us this all his life. He says, he was so Sarah, he was not cry so much. And he teaching us this for generation. And Yaakov Avinu comes here and for 22 years, he mourns for Yosef. That's not something you do. The Torah does not teach us to mourn somebody for 22 years. See, contradiction. You understand? We're talking about our forefathers. This is our foundation. If Ish Gamzu says, Ish Gamzu Letova, everything happens for good, he's the grandson of Yaakov Avinu. If Yaakov Avinu put this type of foundation, that means there's more depths of what the Yaakov Avinu did for 22 years, except for mourn and cry, God forbid, and to be depressed. You understand? That's the way of the Torah, the depths of the Torah. He says, I'm going to give you 13 bundles of how a person is supposed to be connected to the disrespect and shame and anger with the people. The first thing we have to know, why we came to this world. What's the tachlit? What we came for this world. He says everything comes from Kucha Berechu, everything Hakol HaTova, everything for good. Zot HaTachbolot Ikari lo rak b'kabalat bizyonot. He says not only a person getting disrespected, specifically him, Ela la'asagat ha'chayim mu'usharim ba'olam hazeh. He says if not only getting disrespected or there's a parnasa losing, he says everything in this world that happens, it happens for the good for the person. Rav Steinman says, alav shalom, if a person, like Yosef HaTzadik, you take bits, parts of Yosef HaTzadik life, is the worst thing that happened to him. Yeah. But when you look at the end of the picture, you say, wow, we never realize how everything works mysteriously that we have no idea, and our brain is so little and belittle in everything that we're thinking. So it says following like this, Tachbula bat chamisha shlavim. He says we have to know there's a 5 paths and 5 ways of how to accept the disrespect. Hakarat tachlit adam ba'olam hazeh. We have to know why we came to this world. That's the first thing. Second thing, hakarat hakoshi b'nisyonot b'yisurim. He says, second thing, we have to realize how important and koshi, which just means hardships, when a person goes into disrespect and a suffering. That's the second thing. Third thing, la'amin la'adat, we have to understand and we have to know she'akol ma'Hashem yitbarach akol letova. Everything comes from Hashem, akol letova. Fourth, v'lo lavhil minatam minamar ala trufa. He says when a person takes a medication and the medication is bitter, he does not say, listen, the medication is bitter, I'm not taking it. You're taking the medication, it's bitter, in order for a person to get healed. Fifth, lichyot bashalom im atzmecha. A person, fifth thing, that's one of the important things, he has to live with himself peacefully. He's not peaceful. He's miserable. Why is miserable? Because he's not connected to the Torah properly. But we're learning, we have a shiur, I have a chavruta, I have a rabbi, I learn a Gemara. So why are you learning? Rav Ephraim, the Rosh Yeshiva of Chafetz Chaim, says he's learning the Talmud. But he's not Talmid Chacham. He's the Talmidis. Talmidis, which means he's a professor for the what? For the Gemara. But he's not learning how to fix himself. When we say, listen, I have a chavruta, I'm learning here, I'm learning there, I'm learning Gemara, I'm learning with that. But why are you depressed? Because you're not learning properly. You're a professor in the college how to become great Talmidis. You're not Talmid Chacham. Talmid Chacham, which means able to fix himself, able to control his emotions, and able to connect to the Chachamim. So B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem should give us baracha, atzlacha, sason v'simcha, b'riyut, arbe disyat dishmaya, v'chen yiratzon v'nomar amen.